A Wyatt Johnston hat trick and power play perfection from the Dallas Stars in a 6-3 stomping of the St. Louis Blues. We'll break it all down next on Locked On Stars.
Your Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. Another offensive explosion from the Dallas Stars. Back-to-back games with 6 goals as they stomp the Blues by a final score of 6-3 as the power play goes 4 for 4 as well. And the big boys are starting to play for Dallas. Roope Hintz, Jason Robertson, and Wyatt Johnston, his 3rd career hat trick already at 21 years of age. What a contest it was for Dallas. A bit of a weird one. We have plenty to discuss on a Monday edition of Locked On Stars. Welcome back to another week. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Never miss an episode of Locked On Stars. We're going to dive right into it, and we'll begin with the first handful of seconds into the game where Ilya Lyubushkin collided with Radek Faksa and took an awkward fall into the end wall. I can't believe he came out of it as well as he did. He missed the remainder of the first period with an upper body injury, but returned in the second. And from what I saw, it didn't look like he was hindered by anything the rest of the way. But man, that was a dangerous collision and scary sight to see Lyubushkin go into the end wall like that. And fortunately, him and Faksa were able to get up under their own power and seem to be okay the rest of the way. But it was a scary start. Now, for my overall thoughts on the game, there's a couple of key moments I want to touch on. But first, I want to bring up this overall point because this game gave me some flashbacks to game 1 of the season against Nashville. And I brought this up because I thought it was going to be sort of a precursor for the rest of the season. But as we all know, that's really not how it played off with some of the slow starts offensively for Robertson, Johnston, and others, of course, which is well documented. But I brought this up after game 1, and I want to reiterate it. The Stars offense is lethal. It's so dangerous, and they will make you pay if you make mistakes. If you're not on top of your game, the Stars offense can make you pay in a hurry, especially when the power play is rolling the way it is. This is a type of game Stars have not been able to win most of the time this season because they're getting buried and they're getting hemmed in. They're on their heels. They're bending, and they were breaking. They bent but did not break this time against the Blues. And it helped that they got off to an early lead, a power play goal from Mason Marchment, his 15th of the season. The Blues did respond to tie the game at 1. And then there was a fortuitous bounce that fell to Duchesne, and he was able to plop it home as Hofer was not good in net in the first period for St. Louis. It was a back-to-back for the Blues, so Hofer got the back end of the schedule. And then they ended up having to get rid of him after the first because he just wasn't very good. He gave up a late power play goal as well to Johnston before the end of the period, but Bennington stepped in. But to circle back to the theme here, Stars offense is deadly. And when they're rolling like this, they're going to be a tough team to beat because, they did not generate a ton of chances. This is a game where the Stars did not spend a lot of extended time in the offensive zone and wearing down the Blues. It was really the opposite. With St. Louis hard on the forecheck. They were heavy. They played a pretty desperate game, and Dallas just sort of dug in and were able to score on enough of their opportunities. They were limited, but they were able to cash in, and they were able to stretch out and extend the lead and sort of hold on from there. And the power play came through huge. we have to talk about Wyatt Johnston, of course. He is as elite as can be, and I love to see him play this way because this is what I've sort of hyped up for an entire offseason in the summer about Wyatt Johnston and him being, I think, a top 10 center iceman in the NHL at some point in his career. And to see this at 21 years of age is remarkable. Of course, he gets the Hattie. And yes, all 3 goals came on the power play. But man, he should have had some 5-on-5 goals too. He was buzzing out there. His line in particular looked really good in the first 2 periods when a lot of other trios could not say the same. He became the 9th active player with at least 3 hat tricks before the age of 22. He joins Laine, Stamkos, DeBrincat, McDavid, Boldy, Sagan, Taylor Hall, and John Tavares. So not bad company there. And Roope Hintz assisted on all 3 of his goals. Roope with 8 points in his last 2 games. he had 4 assists here. Or 3 assists, pardon me, and a goal to go along with it. But just, I mean, elite stuff from Wyatt Johnston, especially off the rush. His two-way game, he picked off a few passes and led the charge offensively, just gets up ice quickly. And there was a chance in the second period set up by, I want to say, Maverick Bourque, that his shot got forced wide. But man, he was brilliant, and he got to the net front. I mean, the silky hands in tight at the end of the first period, before the horn sounded, just to get it to his forehand, then lift it over Hofer for his first goal of the trio to come. And not to get too graphic, but the power play goal he scored in the third period, for his second. I mean, that's the type of stuff that gets my rocks off. What a play. I mean, what a passing display from Duchesne to Roope, and then he sets up Johnston, who just whips it on net. I mean, my goodness, that's as pretty as a power play goal can get. And that certainly got me stimulated, to say the least. But it wasn't a pretty contest by any sort of imagination. I mean, they got outshot 42-21 in the game, so the shots were doubled up. And this leads me to some of the keys, the key moments in the contest. And look, this is just, I do want to say this as well, because this is a recipe for the Stars to win games currently with the roster constructed. They need to score a lot of goals. They're a little loose defensively. They're not as tight as they would like to be. And there's been some chaotic games coming out of the break. But man, this is a really nice display of offense the last 8 to 10 games. Let's go back to the first 2 games before break. 4 goals. I know they lost in it. Then they had 8 against San Jose. Coming out of the break, 4 against New Jersey, 4 against New York, 4 against Columbus, 6 against the Kings to open the homestand. And then they put up another touchdown here tonight against St. Louis. This is some steady offense and steady production from the big boys up front. And man, this team has a lot of strength down the middle too. If you want to bring this conversation to the playoffs and what Dallas can be, having Wyatt Johnston coming out of your 3 holes, unreal, through the middle of the rink. Roope and Duchesne, and then Wyatt. That's why they want Johnny to center that third line, because it gives them a lot of strength down the middle. And he was arguably their best forward last season in the postseason, and he looked phenomenal in the contest, and he was able to bury some of his looks. And again, you look at the goals he scored. Yeah, they were on the power play, but 2 of them, I mean, just going to the net, driving the crease, and he plots home a rebound for his hat trick. And then his first one, just a nice move in tight, and he's able to elevate, and he celebrates. But yeah, a bit of a funky game. And the key moments, there was a critical point, and it was right in the middle of the hockey game. The Stars had a 4-2 lead. Nathan Walker scores for St. Louis to cut the lead to 1. Then the Blues go on a power play, and Jake Oettinger comes up with a few massive saves. Had one on Justin Falk in the dead of the slot. He came up with a couple of more saves after the penalty expired, and the Blues ended up going back to a power play later in the period. Otter came up with a couple of big saves too. But that was a key moment for Dallas where they dug in, and Otter came up with that save a few times, and it just allowed the Stars to bend but not break. And then they came out in the third period, and there was a critical shift at that 14-minute mark where the fourth line for Dallas had the Blues hemmed in for over a minute. Bork, Steele, and Beck. An incredible shift from the fourth line for over a minute. It was about a minute and 20 seconds, just a few scrums. It ended up with a shot towards Bennington. It wasn't, it didn't lead to a goal, but just a shift that sort of changed momentum for Dallas, where they finally pushed back a little bit against St. Louis in a game where for the majority of the contest, the Stars were in their own zone and weren't able to create a lot of sustained time in the offensive zone. But that shift just sort of changed the tide, and then boom, they draw a penalty and power play scores, and then from Johnston, and then Johnston gets his 2 goals, and that pretty much puts it out of reach to make it 6-3. But man, when Wyatt is playing that way, he's special, and a power play can go 4 for 4. Like it did, you're going to win a lot of hockey games. And we'll talk about the power play perfection and what's going right for the Stars on the man advantage in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Wonderful Pistachios. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for your unsaturated fats to help you keep that feeling of being fuller longer. We all need a healthy snack throughout the day when we're working out or we're just working in general, that 9 to 5, and you struggle to find healthy snacks. Pistachios are there for you, and you can get pistachios without shells, so they're grab and go. You don't have to worry about cracking, albeit I love to crack open a pistachio, plop it in your mouth, and enjoy the deliciousness of a Wonderful Pistachio, a complete protein providing all 9 essential amino acids. Get snacking and get cracking with a snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. The Stars go 4 for 4 on the power play against the Blues, who do not have a good penalty kill. So it was an area of the game where the Stars could make them pay, and they certainly did. The first power play goal from Marchment wasn't exotic. As Hofer just sort of whiffed on a wrist shot from Marchment from the right circle. But the 3 power play goals from Johnston, of course, at the end of the first was a bit of desperation, but great urgency. The puck got cleared out to center off an errant pass, and Harley immediately jumps on it, feeds Johnston, and the Stars were able to capitalize off the rush. And when you have Johnston, Robo, Duchesne, and Hintz, they need to attack off the rush a bit more. But I stated this in, I believe the last episode could have been a Friday edition of Locked On Stars. There's just a lot more movement and fluidity with this Stars power play, and you have to give credit to Dallas with their ability to move the puck around with conviction and just more pace behind their decisions. Look at the second goal from Johnston, his power play goal. Robo from the half wall to the point. Harley hits Hintz in the bumper spot. Hintz to Robertson to Duchesne, and then boom, back to Hintz, and then back to Johnson. See, I'm even getting flustered because that's how many passes they made, tape to tape, quickly. They're not thinking about it. Just move it to the open guy. And again, they're using the goal line. I mentioned this so much in the first 3 months of the season. They need to play from below the circles. They're not always going to get shots through from the point because teams are taking that away. They're not going to allow just Robertson, Miro, or Harley, who's ever quarterback in the power play, to just shoot at will on their netminder. And we're seeing this a lot now where Dallas is using that triangle down low to sort of get a two-on-ones, right? They're setting up these two-on-ones, and you saw it on the second Johnston goal against Edmondson, the defenseman. Duchesne was beneath the end line. Hintz is right in that soft area in the middle of the box. It creates that 2-on-1. Then when Hintz gets the puck, it draws two defenders to him. Johnston's all alone. And we see that again on Johnston's third power play goal to cap off the hat trick. Robertson gets it to Harley, who throws it on net, and it creates a pile. It draws defenders in, and then Johnston is just sitting in the slot and is able to bury it. But that's the key to the Stars man advantage right now, is getting interior. And the post game, even Jake Oettinger spoke on the power play a bit from his perspective that he mentions a netminder. You don't want the opposition to get inside your box, interior. And the Stars currently are doing that very, very well. They're getting interior, and they're forcing high quality chances and looks on goaltenders, and they're cleaning up some of those second chances as well. And they're just outworking the penalty kill. Sometimes you have to do that too. Just win some battles and win some races. But man, it makes the Stars team so much more dangerous when they can win games like this. And there was some discussion on this post game too between Johnston and even Pete DeBoer a bit in their press conferences. Just the ability to win different styles of games, and we spoke about that a lot last year, and why we all thought Stars were going to be a tough team to beat in the playoffs, and they were going to make a deep run because of their ability to just win all types of games. They could score the best of them. For the most part, they could shut you down defensively and hold on to a third period lead. Their special teams was brilliant all season long. It hasn't been the case this year, but I think what we're seeing now is a regression to the mean for Dallas, because this is what they've been under Pete DeBoer and Steve Spott. As much flack as we've given him, we need to go on an apology tour because he's changed it up, and they're starting to cash in. And again, like I stated in the first segment, this is a game that Stars did not win a ton of in the first half of the season because their power play just let them down in a game where they may have been trailing by 2, and it felt like, man, if you scored a power play goal here or there, you maybe earn a point out of the game. Well, now they end up getting a win in a contest where they weren't the better team for the majority of the game, but I thought they played a heck of a third period. I thought it was maybe their best period of the game, and they only had 5 shots, but they capitalized on a few of their chances, and Pete DeBoer said it after the game. That's what good teams do. They bend, they don't break, and they score on their looks, and they buckle down and were able to close it out. Johnston had 6 goals at Christmas. He's had 15 since. This comes from Josh Clark. Some phenomenal stuff here. Hintz had 6 assists at Christmas. He's got 17 now since. Stars sat 12th in the NHL at Christmas. They, of course, now are the NHL's top team since. So they've been lighting it up since December 25th. But, I mean, just big nights from Roope Hintz, Johnston. The beat goes on for Robertson too. Man, it's a lot of fun to watch when the Stars top line is playing as well as they are. And credit to Stankoven. There's a couple things we've talked about recently that are starting to come into play. Like Stankoven needs to step up, start taking control, and really force himself into a role here. Whether that's on the first line, whether that's going to be on the fourth. but he's played a couple of games now on the top line, and he's playing excellent. And frankly, it shouldn't be that hard with the way 24 and 21 are going right now. But if he can complement them, and I thought he had some excellent shifts in the game too. There was play in the third period early where the Stars turned it over at the attack blue line, and Stankoven hustled back to break up a centering pass, and then Dallas was able to go the other way. Like plays like that that don't show up on the stat sheet, but you need from you need from guys like Stankoven. Like that's where he's going to make an effort. That's where he's going to make an impact. And he certainly did. I have to say too, my fantasy team is on an absolute roll recently. This is a shameless plug, but when you got Roope, I got half the Stars roster jokingly. But when you got Roope, Harley, Johnston, and Robertson, with the way they're going right now, you're going to win a lot of games in fantasy. Not that anybody cares, but it's been really fun to watch. That's for sure. Okay, let's get into the big boys a bit more, because Pete said something really interesting after the game. I want to touch on too. So we'll get to that in just a moment. What a weekend. What a weekend of hockey. Personally, for those of you that don't know, I'm the play-by-play voice of the Corpus Christi Ice Rays in the North American Hockey League, and we swept this weekend. But more importantly, we clinched a playoff berth for the first time since 2019. So it's been a while here in the Coastal Bend since the Ice Rays have made the postseason, and they've done that, which is awesome. And they're just a couple of wins away from setting a franchise record for most wins in a single season. So it's just been an exciting year. We were able to celebrate that. And then, of course, the Stars cap it off with a emphatic victory here over the Blues. So good vibes all the way around. But I wanted to touch on this and share this from Pete DeBoer for those of you that may have not caught the post-game press conference. He touched on moments, right? And he talked about how right now they're getting those moments from their best players and how important that is moving forward. And Wyatt Johnston had a moment. Roope with 8 points in his last 2 games. Like, he's having huge impacts on the game each and every night. And Jason Robertson, that's well documented too, what he's done here over the last 2 months, really. And when the Stars' best players are playing this way, I have a hard time not getting giddy about what this team can be in the playoffs, even with some of the injuries they're dealing with and how much I'm not a huge fan of what they're deploying on the back end. But my goodness, when the Stars can get this type of play and production, like my God, they're not going to be beat by a lot of teams in the NHL. And it really doesn't matter who they're playing because they're so deep up front. The depth is just unreal. But they have run into issues in the postseason where it just dries up. And then that's where the problems start to arise. So I don't want to get jaded or make any of you jaded by what we saw or what we're seeing here over the last few weeks. But this display of offense is sort of what we expected for the Dallas Stars this season. This is what we sort of envisioned coming into the season, that, man, they're going to have 4 lines of 12 forwards that can go at you in a multiple amount of ways. The power play is going to be deadly. The PK is going to be great. They're going to be pretty tight defensively. They're going to be able to shut teams down when they have a lead in a third period. But, man, you do not want to fall asleep against the Stars because they will make you pay. And Dallas has been able to do that. They're still not as stingy as I would like in their own zone, but they don't have a lot of options to go to right now. And they're still a deadline away, right? A deadline away from being a bit more stable. But when you get Bishop back, that's going to be good, and you feel pretty decent. And then once Miro gets back in at some point, hopefully before the regular season, but more importantly for game one or the first round of Stanley Cup playoffs, then you're rocking and rolling. Because gosh, it's such a deep team up front that you can hopefully rely on in the playoffs for those moments that Pete DeBoer is speaking about, those moments. And Roope needs some of those. And Jason Robertson especially. Can he have a series? Can he single-handedly pull Dallas through a series, right? Like that type of impact. And we saw Roope a few years ago was the leading scorer in the postseason. I think he even finished third at the end of the darn thing, and he didn't even play an extra round. So this all bodes well, and it sort of all leads me to the point that Stars team's going to be a tough out. Even with subpar back end, I'll say that. They're going to be a massive problem. I truly believe that. I truly believe that. Look, does that mean they're going to win 2 rounds? No. Does it mean they're going to get bounced in the first round? Maybe. But gosh, I think they're going to be a problem because they just have a lot of weapons to go to. And, Johnston's had experience now for a couple postseasons. That helps. Robertson has gotten a little bit better each playoff run. So you'd expect a bit of an elevation of his game. And then you just get some of the pieces back. I mean, Miro's going to do wonders for this team. He's going to do wonders. He'll just be able to control the game for Dallas. That's what the Stars really miss. He's just able to control the game because of his defensive ability. He can just neutralize attacks, especially along the wall. And he just makes those short, simple, easy passes that break down a forecheck. And Dallas can transition quickly because of his first pass. And it'll just provide a whole new way for Dallas to go about their business. Especially when it comes to their defensive structure and defensive game. Man, I would love for them to add a piece on the back end. They could use 2. I'd just be thrilled with 1. Just bring somebody in that can be impactful for you. It never hurts to just have another body, especially with what Dallas has kind of gone through. I don't think you can just sit and be okay with what you have because, I mean, look at the fall Labushkin just took. I mean, good night. I mean, you're maybe an inch away from him being out for who knows how long. And then you're playing 5 defensemen. It's just you're so thin. You're so thin right now on the blue line. It's just I said it last week. You're just 1 injury away from it being a significant loss, and you may have to just bite the bullet. Come postseason time if you just don't have reinforcements. So it'll be a real curious 8 days or so. Well, I guess we're just right around the corner now. I think Friday's the deadline. So, buckle up, Stars fans, buckle up. I was a bit all over the place here today. I do apologize a bit for that. I've spoken a lot today. I think I've reached my word count, but I had a lot. I wanted to get out there because just the game in general spurred up a lot of different things and a lot of points I sort of wanted to try to hammer home. And I hope I did that in a pretty efficient manner. But want to thank you, as always, for the love and support. All you everydayers out there that tune in every single day, shout out to you. It's been an absolute blast. Stars are rolling, ladies and gentlemen. Stars are rolling. Thank you for making Locked On Stars your first listen of the day. Be sure to make Locked On NHL your second listen. Gives you a nice wide variety of the NHL. You can hear some overall discussions about the hottest storylines in the league. Be sure to check them out as well. And be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell. Never miss an episode of Locked On Stars. Drop down your favorite play from last night, maybe your favorite observation, or just maybe a key that you picked up on last night from the Stars' victory. Enjoy your Monday. I hope it's a good one to kick off your week. We'll be back tomorrow. Stars taking on the Devils, another good opponent coming into town on Tuesday night. So we'll break down then and have plenty more coverage for you upcoming. Have a great day. So long, Stars fans.